What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, apparently ex-Duke player who's now retired, Redick, is going to become an ESPN analyst. So I don't know if that means he'll be talking during the games, he'll be the sports personality, or if he's going to be like in studio type of dude. So I guess we'll find out soon enough, with both the NBA starting up and then college is going to be starting up pretty soon as well. Maybe it's most likely college to get his feet wet, so that'll be cool either way. Then yes, sadly, Drake London, the top wide receiver and pretty much top player come out of USC this year. He's been great, but sadly this Saturday he was carted off the field against Arizona. Then we found out the very next day, or even later that night, that apparently, I don't know if it's like a fractured ankle or he broke his ankle, something, either one of those, but luckily that's the best case scenario, because they say that's better to come back from and easier and quicker to come back from than say like something that could linger on forever. So luckily he will be able to most likely be healthy by the time the scouts come around for the NFL in March and April. So that's all he has to worry about right now. He should not come back to USC in my opinion, because with his stats right now, I'm pretty sure he's leading the NCAA in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns maybe, but you know, might as well just get that money right now if you're going to be a first round pick. And according to ESPN, he's now considered a top 4 overall prospect going into the draft, which is pretty crazy at a wide receiver is. And speaking of USC football, yes, they picked up another commitment for next season in a punter from Australia. So their punter right now, Ben Griffiths, is there. He's a 30-year-old punter, but you know, he's been pretty good for USC. But USC once again goes down to the kicking well down there in Australia, and picks up a guy in the name of Atticus Bertrams, however you say it. But I don't know how old he is, but usually those Australian kickers are a little bit older, but it's also good too to have in your kickers. So as long as you don't have to worry about that position, it's pretty good. So luckily we got him on our team. And yes, speaking of a USC football game, they were playing against Arizona this last Saturday for the homecoming game, and they did end up winning. It was a lot worse than what yes, the score was 41-34, I believe it was the final score, but USC, I believe, was winning like 35 to something at halftime. It was pretty much a blowout until they allowed Arizona to come back and make it a game. And obviously, if you could tell from the final score, USC's offense only put up 6 points and 2 field goals in that second half, which was pretty crazy. And even though the running back Keontae Ingram went off, he had like over 150 yards rushing again and at least 1 touchdown. But according to like plays that got called back because of penalties and everything during that game, according to the head coach, that he would have had over a 300-yard game. So once again, the stupid penalties ruined the guy's stats for the game for USC, which sucked. But you know, it was also weird too that now that Jackson Dart, the freshman, is healthy, they also went to a 2-quarterback system, sort of. But it was more of like a couple series let Slovis go, and then the next couple series let Dart, the freshman, go. So it was kind of weird to see a little bit from the highlights that I did finally see. But yeah, hopefully they just stick with Dart, because they have a pretty tough matchup against Arizona State in the Pac-12 South this Saturday. So hopefully, you know, they'll figure out that stuff before then. Then ex-Duke player for the Knicks, RJ Barrett, he had a career high 35 points the other night, which is cool to see. He also ended up throwing in 8 rebounds and 6 assists, and I believe he made 6 3-pointers in that game as well. He's become a lot better shooter of the 3 this season. At the first couple games I saw he was doing pretty well. I just hoped that they would still continue playing him, which they have luckily, and looks like he's finally getting going in his NBA career. It was pretty tough, you know, first couple years, missing some pretty wide open shots, and they were leaving him open for a reason, but now you can't, because he gets a new career high of 35 points. So congrats to RJ Barrett. Then there were a couple trades that came from this website. They were pretty interesting, but one involves already Russell Westbrook, which is pretty crazy. And of course, they would be sending him and Wayne Ellington to the New Orleans Pelicans. So once again, the Lakers and Pelicans making a deal somehow. But I believe the Lakers would get back Devontae Graham, who's a guy who I wanted on the Lakers from the beginning, but they didn't listen to me. They would get back Josh Hart, who they traded for Anthony Davis a couple years ago. And a couple other guys like Thomas Satoransky, who's like a point guard, shooting guard. He was pretty good with like Washington last year and Chicago the years before. So I wouldn't mind a player like that. But I think they also threw in Garrett Temple, who is a guy who can help you, but I don't know. I think maybe they might let him go. There would still be a lot of other guys on their team. They could use them now because of injury, but a lot of those guys will be coming back. So I don't know how this trade would really work out. Then another trade involves a guy who even hasn't played for the Lakers and Kendrick Dunn, but the Lakers would be trading for Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls, who actually isn't even playing right now. He probably won't be available until mid-November with this injury, but he was one of the more talented actual guys that I liked coming out of the University of North Carolina the past couple years. But yeah, they would only get him. Apparently the Lakers, they would trade away Kendrick Nunn, DeAndre Jordan, their center, and a second round pick in 2023 and 2024 who belonged to other people. But the Lakers ended up getting them somehow. I mean, it could work out just because guys like Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, there are a lot of guys at that point guard, shooting guard position. Lonzo Ball is there as well. So they could look to get rid of him, but they also probably want to see what he looks like with that group, and he hasn't been able to play. So you might not get this trade done now, maybe at the trade deadline, but Kobe White is a guy I think you can invest in his future because he has a lot of talent. He's more of like a shooting guard than a point guard, but he could play the point guard position for you. So yeah, I kind of like that more than the Russell Westbrook one, even though to me Westbrook for the Lakers has been unsatisfying or underperforming, but I think they can get it done as long as these fools stay healthy. But every day it seems like whether it's Anthony Davis or LeBron James is dealing with an injury as usual. Then the Duke Blue Devils did get a little exhibition game with Winston-Salem State. Never heard of them, but I'm pretty sure they're a crappy team, which is why they ended up losing to Duke 106-38. Exhibition game, so no matter what, it doesn't count towards the record, but there's a nice ability for them to get their juices going before they have to play against Kentucky, who I'm pretty sure is a top 5 team, even though their players aren't as highly ranked as Duke's players, in my opinion. So I don't understand that, but yeah, it'll be a big time showdown pretty soon. I think within the next week or two, I'll be talking about that in my video. So hopefully Duke is up for that, but they definitely looked ready to go after this game. So I was definitely happy to see that. And you know, Banchero, you saw that dunk, he did very well. Trevor Keels, the other freshman, the shooting guard, did very well as well. They're comparing him to like James Harden / Justice Winslow, who was at Duke, who did great for Duke the last time they won a championship. So definitely looking forward to what this team can do in the near future. Then, yes, the Lakers ended up going on a 2-game win streak, which is nice. First, they beat the Cavaliers, which ended up getting a lot of praise. Both Lakers greats, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, gave a lot of praise to the ex-USC number 3 overall pick for Cleveland this year, Evan Mobley, saying, you know, he's a very well put together player. A lot of comparisons were to an Anthony Davis like or Chris Bosh like, but you know, even Anthony Davis said as of right now in his career he's better than where Davis was as a rookie because he can actually shoot the ball and consistently from the 3-point line. So all is good for Evan Mobley, but yes, luckily the Lakers did get the victory. Sadly, it was a barely victory. It was only by like a couple points, I believe, but yes, they still got the victory against LeBron's ex-team nonetheless. And then they also, on Halloween night, ended up playing the Houston Rockets. And once again, they're winning by 20, almost 30 plus points. And then second half, they allow these teams to get back. Cleveland was a lot closer. They have better players, but Houston got within at least 10 points in the fourth quarter. But luckily, the Lakers were able to push away, end up winning by more than that. So yes, luckily they got that victory, and I think they play Houston again on Tuesday, tomorrow. So hopefully they won't be looking for revenge, and hopefully the Lakers will just punish them like how they should, because they are a lower Western Conference team. But yeah, overall, that's it was kind of weird also that Carmelo Anthony off the bench, one of the older guys on the team, actually led the Lakers in points last night. But it's a weird night. It's Halloween night, but yes, luckily they got the victory. And then yes, to end on some miscellaneous news real quick. So one of the frontmen for Linkin Park, Mike Shinoda, was asked if Linkin Park would end up going on tour in the near future and if they would incorporate a hologram of their ex-member who passed away, Chester Bennington, their other singer. And thankfully he denounced the fact that the rumors were that they were gonna do that. He says it would be weird and not the direction that the band would want to go in. I don't mind them. I think I would mind them more finding another singer than I would them just playing Chester's music in the background, like off a track while they're live. It would be hard to see the band like continue to make new music together where Chester isn't, where they don't have another Chester singing, and if it's just all Mike Shinoda. Mike Shinoda, yes, he's more of the rapper of the two, but like especially the last album, he did even less rapping than usual. So I think he could, hold it down for both spots. It would be a lot of work, but I don't know if he would want to. And if they just want to be some type of tribute band for themselves and go around and still play Chester's song, have a mic on the stage with some flowers and stuff and light it up, that'd be cool too. Just have his background vocals there or the main vocals playing in the background. I think that's the way to go. We'll see, but definitely not gonna do no hologram BS. That I'm so glad he talked that down. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below, let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you like the lights. Bye. Bye down.